Breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
It's now being reported that the Religion of Peace follower who carried out his week's deadly terror attack in New York City on Tuesday evening made a phone call immediately before mowing down a group of pedestrians and cyclists with his rented truck. Yesterday, a spokesperson for the FBI said that Mukhammadzoir Kadirov, a 32-year-old native of Uzbekistan, received a phone call from the suspected attacker Sayfullo Saipov shortly before he used his vehicle to kill 8 people in Manhattan. Although the reason for the call Saipov made to Kadirov is not yet known, the FBI has now released a poster asking for the public's help in order to find Kadirov after authorities say they weren't able to locate him. But, less than an hour after the poster went public, Assistant Director in Charge Bill Sweeney announced that agents were no longer looking for Kadirov. All these people immigrated to the U.S. because of Chuck Schumer's 1990 bill establishing a lottery immigration policy rather than one based on merit. Because of this, the terrorist was actually able to bring in 23 of his family members. And this is the thanks we got. Via CNN. What is it? The Diversity Immigrant Visa Program awards up to 50,000 individuals per year a visa for a green card, which bestows permanent residency in the U.S. and is a path to citizenship. Opponents of immigration complain that the program brings people to the U.S. to compete for jobs, and even supporters of immigration acknowledge the program does not tailor applicants to needs in the U.S. Visas are awarded by random selection in select countries to promote immigration from places that don't otherwise send many immigrants to the U.S. Roughly 1 million green cards are issued by the U.S. per year. In 2016, 45,664 diversity visas were issued. The vast majority of green cards are based on family connections, and other categories include employment-based visas and refugees or asylees. How does it work? Individuals and countries that are determined by a formula to have a low enough level of immigration to the U.S. can apply for the visas at certain times each year. Most of the lottery recipients live outside the U.S., but a few are in the U.S. legally on other visas. According to the formula set out by law, countries that have had more than 50,000 natives immigrate to the U.S. in the previous 5 years are ineligible. The visas are distributed further by regions: Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, other than Mexico, Oceania and South America, Mexico, Central America and the Caribbean. The program is run by the State Department. While individuals are selected for visas randomly, they still must meet security and eligibility requirements that all immigrants must clear to actually get their visas. Diversity recipients specifically must also have at least a high school education or equivalent and must have had at least 2 years of experience working a job that requires at least 2 years of training or experience within 5 years of the date of the application. They must also be admissible to the U.S. Categories of inadmissibility to the U.S. broadly include terrorism connections. The process also includes an in-person interview. In order to immigrate, DV selectees must be admissible to the United States, a State Department information handout for applicants states. The DS-260, Online Immigrant Visa and Alien Registration Application, electronically, and the consular officer, in person, will ask you questions about your eligibility to immigrate under U.S. law. These questions include criminal and security-related topics. How did it get started? The program was established in a bill passed in 1990, the Immigration Act. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, then a New York congressman, was one of 31 co-sponsors of the House version of the bill, spearheaded by Representative Bruce Morrison, a Connecticut Democrat. Schumer was credited with the concept of giving visas to countries with low admission rates to the U.S., which he developed in a different bill that he sponsored that was rolled into the broader law. Morrison also promoted the bill as a way to legalize Irish immigrants, according to a 1990 report in the New York Times and an analysis of the development of the program from the group Numbers USA, which advocates for sharp cuts in overall immigration. The final bill passed the Senate 89-8 and the House 264-118. What's even worse is that this terrorist had what's reported to be thousands of ISIS videos on his smartphone. He asked to fly the ISIS terror flag in his hospital room and confirmed that he chose Halloween because he thought more people would be on the streets. More children would be on the streets. Via Daily Mail. According to the criminal complaint, Saipov chose the attack date to target Halloween crowds. During the last few weeks, Saipov searched the internet for information on Halloween in New York City and rented a truck to practice turns. He chose a route along the Lower Manhattan Highway and initially hoped to continue to hit more pedestrians on the Brooklyn Bridge, the complaint said. The terrorist showed up in court in a wheelchair and in shackles. When will we, as a society, yell out enough? When will we stop these corrupt politicians from converting our nation into a third-world cesspool? Since they don't have to live with these people around them, they don't care who comes in. Chuck Schumer and former President George H.W. Bush, who signed the diversity lottery program into law in 1990, both have blood on their hands, and they should all be held to account as accomplices to this scumbag's crime. Please share if you want politicians to start being held accountable for the negative effects of the laws they pass. Follow us on Facebook at Freedom Daily.